upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Bim bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bim bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko chase the love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko chase the love upon the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bim bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bim bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Bim bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bim bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko squeeze the love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko squeeze the love upon the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bim bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bim bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko left the love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko left the love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Bim bop, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bim bop, police are come and the gala holla murder.
Better run.
Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come. Sanko,
You better run.
Sanko,
Police are come.
Sanko,
You better run.
Sanko.
Police are come.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Today is Saturday, May 4th. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Over to You. Please like the program, share the link. Please like the program, share the link. With me this evening is no other than Dr. David Hines. Dr. Hines, welcome to Over to You.
Thank you very much, Wayne, and it's nice to be here.
Thank you, Dr. Hines. I'll just do my quick roll call here. Ladies and gentlemen, please share the link, share the link, share the link. We're going to have a very interesting program, a very important and edifying program this afternoon. And it's such a pleasure to have Dr. Hines on board this afternoon. Shalon Hamilton, welcome. Emily Durant, welcome, welcome. Mr. Eastman, welcome. Welcome to Over to You. Desiree Smart Felix, welcome. New Amsterdam in the house. Sandra Hanover, welcome. Rhonda Spencer Tom, welcome to Over to You. Beverly Crandon Hudson, welcome. Valdine Kendall, welcome. Miss Hazel Johnson, welcome. How are you doing, Miss Johnson? Mr. Gaylord Heavens, welcome. Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to Over to You. All right. So, Dr. Hines, how have you been keeping? Are you good? How is everything?
Well, I'm keeping up with the struggle, trying to take it one day at a time.
Yes. That is the best approach. One day at a time. Dr. Hines, this evening, I would like to start off with our first topic. I want to address the boycott that is currently ongoing in Brooklyn, New York, of those businesses that would have taken it upon themselves to have Irfan Ali secretly sneaked in to Brooklyn, where he visited Kings County Hospital and quite a few businesses there in Brooklyn. I just want to have your take on this situation.
Well, thank you again, Wayne, for having me. And I've been threatening for a while to come on to your program, and you finally got me to come on. And I want to thank you for inviting me, and to thank you for joining the struggle in this way. I know you're part of the struggle generally, but at the level of what they call now social media influencers joining, and I want to thank you for that. Look, I think we have to put issues in perspective, because what our detractors always try to do is try to frame the issue for us. And I think it's important that we frame our issues ourselves. Now, once you say boycott, people get excited one way or the other. Either people said, yes, let's get it on, bring it on, right? Or people say, oh, why are you boycotting? I think it's an oversimplification of the issue here. I think none of us, and I take the liberty of speaking for Brother Mark and others who are spearheading this call for a boycott. None of us is saying to anyone, you don't have a right to join the PPP if you want to join the PPP, to like the PPP if you want to like the PPP. None of us is saying that we don't want Black businesses, or for that matter, Indian business or any business, not to flourish. We are not foolish. We are not simple people. So we are not saying those things. But if you listen to our detractors, they seem to be saying those people who are calling for the boycott want to put people out of bread, you know? Or those people are calling for the boycott want to deny the president the right to go where he wants to go. Nonsense. No. The context in which the boycott was called is what is happening in Guyana today and the role of this government. Now, as the teacher, I have to groove in. Right now in America, there are students at universities all across the world who are calling for a boycott of business with Israel. Are they trying to put people out of bread? Are they trying to deny Israelis the right to life? No. They're basically saying, here is a government which, over the period of 6 years, is engaging in atrocities against human beings. And so, therefore, it is not an anti-Israel boycott as such. It is an anti-genocide that Israel is carrying out. That's what the students are about. They're not about we're against Israelis and we just want to boycott Israeli business. No, we are against the genocide. And if, in our estimation, Israel is hell-bent on continuing the killing, wanton killing of people, then that's what we're objecting to. Just what we're objecting to. And insofar as the Israeli government is spearheading that, then they have to take responsibility. Now, the boycott there is against the background of what the government is doing in Guyana. And none other than the United Nations, all of us watch the riveting questioning of the government of Guyana by the United Nations, which concluded that our government is involved in human rights violations. They're involved in corruption. They're involved in things that go against the United Nations Charter. And so, therefore, insofar as African Guyanese are concerned, African Guyanese are feeling the brunt of the government assault as Guyanese, as working people. But on top of that, they're feeling the brunt of the attack as African Guyanese. You see? And so, therefore, the government of Guyana, as distinguish itself as working against the human rights interest of African Guyanese. And the president, the leader of that government, comes to town, goes into an African Guyanese area, invited by African Guyanese, while his government is at home kicking down the stalls, breaking down the stalls of African Guyanese. So here are African Guyanese businesses in Brooklyn inviting the president to come, while the president's government is at home taking bread out of the mouth of African Guyanese in Guyana by knocking down their businesses. So he comes into Brooklyn, and I'm repeating this, the teacher in me, the analyst in me, you come to an African Guyanese community and you go and you're taking pictures and all kinds of things with African Guyanese businesses in Brooklyn, while you are kicking down, knocking down the buildings of African Guyanese businesses in Guyana. That is the issue. That is the issue here. And if you call yourself an African Guyanese patriot in Brooklyn, and you, in spite of what is going on in Guyana, the breaking down of people's homes in Mocha, the spitting on a constable, a police constable, the arresting of a female African Guyanese lawyer because she's doing her job, the wanton killing of African Guyanese males, mostly young males, the denial of the mostly public servants a living wage, denying them their right to become rich by denying them a living wage. If you are in Brooklyn and you are seeing that happening, and you are bringing the head of that government to coddle, then you are joining with him in breaking down the business of your sisters and brothers in Guyana, in oppressing them in Guyana. And that in itself is an assault on African Guyanese. And so if African Guyanese, led by Brother Mark and others, said, look, we have to draw the line here. You can't do that. And we can't come and shut your business down. We can't tell you who you must like. But the one thing we can do is that we can ask our brothers and sisters to deny you access to their dollars, because you are likely to take their dollars and make contributions to the PPP. How do we know you have not made monetary contributions to the PPP in exchange for the president to come in? And so the boycott is a rebuke. It's a rebuke to those who are so insensitive that all they're concerned with is taking a picture with the president, a president who's presided over the tears and the blood of your brothers and sisters. And so, therefore, the boycott is a rebuke. The boycott is also a deterrence to others who may feel, okay, we can play the game and get away with it. Well, no, you can't play the game and get away with it. You didn't play, we didn't allow people to play the game and get away with it when they were colluding with businesses that were investing in South Africa during the apartheid era. There was a global boycott of South Africa when they were doing black people in South Africa what the government in Guyana is doing to black people. And so it's a rebuke, it's a deterrence, but it's also a signal to the government in Guyana that you cannot play on the weaknesses of our people. They've always been black people who work against the interests of blackness, against the interests of black people, of African people. There have always been people like that. The PPP is aware of it. And they're coming to Brooklyn to take advantage of it. Well, you can go into those people's living room. You can go in the basement. That is your business. But insofar as those people are running a business in which our people's monies are keeping those business things, those people have to be brought to account. And I have absolutely no apologies to make to anybody for saying to Black people, if you are going to bring those people who are killing our people, who are brutalizing our people in Guyana, you're going to bring them and hug them up. Well, you've got to pay for that. You've got to pay for that. And the easiest way we can do it is that we ask our people to withdraw their money, to go to another Guyanese business and spend your money. You want patty? You want pint tart? That's not the only place that's selling patty and pint tart. Go. So when you're talking, oh, Mark and them are trying to work against our own business. No, we are trying to work against our own business people who are colluding with people who are killing and slaughtering Black people. We are saying, and let me make it clear, you want patty? They get plenty other Guyanese businesses that are not colluding. Go and spend on our own. We are not saying don't spend on we own. We are saying don't spend your money on we own who don't like we own, who working against we own. Right? They get other Guyanese businesses, go and give them your money. So we are not anti-Guyanese business, anti-African Guyanese business. We are not. We are saying African Guyanese businesses that are in the are there supporting and uplifting the racist and dictatorial regime in Guyana. Don't spend on them. But I'm saying to you all tonight, go out and support other African Guyanese business. Tonight, you all want go out and buy from those other African Guyanese businesses that are not insulting the integrity of African Guyanese at all. So I want to make that clear that I am not, I am for African Guyanese businesses. And I'm saying to you all, buy from African Guyanese businesses. There are plenty of them. If there are 10 of them in your neighborhood and 2 of them are hogging up and colluding the oppressor, boycott them and spend your money upon the other 8. I'm waiting for them to tell me that David Hines is saying that don't support your own. Support your own, but support your own who stand with you.
Well said, Dr. Hines. And I think, you know, what you've just said there, you've spoken for many, many, many people in the masses, because that is the take of the people. Listen, they brought in an oppressive man into the neighborhood in Brooklyn. Okay, it wasn't a decent man. It wasn't someone who is for the people of Guyana. It is someone who is oppressing our brothers and sisters in Guyana. So you could not have said that any better, Dr. Hines. You could not have said it any better. And for those few that are calling for the boycott to be stopped immediately, you guys need to examine yourself and get a good understanding of what is happening here. Every action has a reaction. And this boycott is not just because people look at these businesses and want it to boycott them. They have taken an action. And the people have a right to their reaction to that action. Okay,
yes,
it's responsibility. Yep. We want you to look out for us. We do not want no segregation. No. We are one people. And if we're going to do it, let's do it together, because we have respect for you. Thank you.
All right, President. All right, I would have it no other way. No other way. There is only one way forward, and that is united. That is for us to band together, for us to understand the challenges together, and for us to overcome those challenges.
Don't ask what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for the country. So we're here to work together as one.
Thank you.
Let's do it orderly.
We have to have Youth of the Hills restaurant, and I'm proud to know we are Guyanese. And today I have one Guyanese scholar. I represent Guyana. I born in Guyana.
Wow.
Dr. Hines, I just want your take on what that business owner would have just said. We respect you. Who is she speaking for, Dr. Hines? Can I have your take on that?
Brother Wayne, I was dissecting Mr. Jack Dio's, and here I go. I was dissecting Jack Dio's press conference the other night, and I was playing the thing, and I referred to him as Mr. Jack Dio. And I got a torrent of calls, voicemails from people I know who love me. And they said, Dr. Hines, we love you, we with you. But we don't like you calling that man Mr. And I am telling you, Wayne, that is a sentiment that is deep in the Black community, that they can't even stand us referring to them as Mr., much more to respect them. The disrespect for those people is very rampant in our community. And it doesn't come easy. Look, Black people are perhaps the most grateful people in the world. We have to be. Because what we went through for 400 years, we should be walking down the street and damaging people left, right, and center. We don't do it. We don't do it because we are people of love. And we are always grateful. You see, you go to a Black community and there is a function and an Indian person walks in or a white person walks. Look at the way we treat them with love. We make them feel welcome. So we are a grateful people. But we are also people who have a deep feeling of disrespect when people I hear the young people using that term, don't disrespect me. And when they use that term, it comes from a deep place. Because as Black people, disrespect has followed us for 400 years. And so we have a keen nose for disrespect. So when that man goes in there and disrespects our people, and then you have somebody stands up there and say, we want you to look out for us. Look out for us by breaking down our homes. Look out for us by killing our men in their sleep. Look out for us by spitting in our women's face. Look out for us by starving our teachers. Look out for us by fighting our teachers to the gates of heaven. Huh? Look at this lady who I was there. I was there on that day. Somebody didn't tell me I was there in Moko. I was there in Moko. And you are telling me about looking out for us? What is she talking about? Dick Gregory, the revered African American activist, used to say, what kind of fool is you to be going there and making yourself a jackass? Look what they're doing to a minister. Not a ground dove, an eagle. He's an eagle, he's a minister. Look what they're doing to him. Look what they're doing to him. And you are going there and making yourself a common fool by saying, we respect you and we want you to look out for us. My sister, whoever you are, I love you because you're Black like me. I love you and I will continue to love you. But we got a lot of Black people who can look out for Black people. We don't need Mr. to look out for us. We got enough Black leaders who can look out for us. So you don't need to ask him to look out for us. He has absolutely no reason, no incentive, and no ambition to look out for us. My brother, at some point, we have to say enough is enough. And if some Black people want to make themselves fools, we have to leave them by the wayside. We have to leave them by the wayside. When the struggle is over and we passing back, we may pick them up, dust them off, and say repent and come back in the flock. But for now, you're working against the flock, and we have got to say that. And we have to be very clear in our mind about what we are saying to our people in this time. These are serious, very, very serious times. And Black people have to stop making themselves jackasses.
Well said, Dr. Hines, and thank you so much for that. That is so true. And people listening, fortunately here we have one of those leaders who is always looking out for us, Dr. David Hines. And Dr. Hines, we want to thank you for all that you do. I am happy that I have you here live, that I can thank you for all the work that you have done, edifying us, because your work is very, very important to us. People in Guyana are looking for leadership. They are looking for empowerment. And you do an excellent job, you, Mark Benchcap, amongst others, empowering our people. Now, Dr. Hines, that business owner, we have called upon her several times to make an apology to the community. She have not done so. She seemed to would have taken a position. What are your thoughts on her not making an apology? Because in business, right, Dr. Hines, in order for you to have a business, you need to have a market. And your market, these type of businesses, food businesses, is your consumers. What's your take on her not stepping forward to apologize to the
if you and your mother get a quarrel, you and your father get a quarrel, you and your wife or your husband get a quarrel, your body, your sissy, you all get a quarrel. And you all quarrel. At the end of the day, if you love your husband or you love your wife, you love your picnic, you love your mama, you're going to say, we quarrel, we disagree, but, I'm apologizing, mommy. I'm apologizing, daddy. I'm apologizing to you, my wife or my husband. I'm apologizing for you. I hold strongly to my position, but I have offended you. You know the normal thing in our community? If I offend you, man, I'm sorry. At a minimum, if I love you, then the least I can do, if you feel offended, whether I intended to offend you or not, but I love you and you are offended, the least I can do is to say sorry. And that's all we are asking for. And the fact that that person cannot say sorry says to the extent that he or she does not like us, does not like herself. And my point is that I ain't throwing away the lady. I think we can dust her off and bring her back. But she has to take the first step. And the first step is to say to our community, man, I'm sorry, whether I was misled, whether I misunderstood the temperature in the Black community, I'm sorry. But the fact that you've refused to apologize says to me that you ain't got no love for me, at least now. You may love me tomorrow or next year, but for now, you ain't love me. And so for now, I got to say, Black people, take all your money, go spend it at another African business, African Guyanese business. They got plenty of them in Brooklyn. And plenty of them in Brooklyn didn't accommodate the oppressor. Spend your own money on them. I am here by tonight saying to you, I'm glad. Because you see, my brother, when I said a couple of years ago that you have no right to leave Baron and Plaisance and Golden Grove and Boxing, where they get Black pudding selling at every corner, and go in another community and buy Black pudding, there's, oh God, David Hines telling Black people to do wrong thing and so on. Now they're saying that Mark Benchop and others are telling Black people not to support Black business. I'm glad they come wrong to me situation that we need, to me position, that we need to support Black business. I love it. And so I'm saying to people in Brooklyn tonight, support African Guyanese businesses, but those few that disrespected the Black community, diss them. Don't support them. And that will be good for African Guyanese businesses. In fact, wherever the lady's selling, if you got little money, think about opening another business and sell what she's selling. because we want African Guyanese businesses. And we want African Guyanese to support African Guyanese business. I hereby say here tonight to Jermaine Figueroa, my little brother who I love. I say here to you, let not your heart be troubled, my little brother. We are supporting black businesses. And I am using this platform to say to African Guyanese, now is the time to support African Guyanese businesses even more, so that they don't go down the wrong path, like that lady, you see, and others who went down that road. If you can't say sorry to your brothers and your sisters, then you don't love us.
Well said, Dr. Hines, and you just touch on, you just invoke a name there, and that's where I was going with my next question to you. Now, the vendors between Camp Street and Vicinjon Road would have had their stalls demolished. Okay, this happened right after Ali's visit to Brooklyn. Now, our brother, MP Jamal Figueroa, did not address that, but he chose to address the situation all the way in Brooklyn that is under control. I want your take, because just give me a take, Dr. Hines, your take on that, please.
Brother Wayne, I've met Jermaine before a couple of times. I spent an entire night a couple of years ago. They invited me to go to Linden at the emancipation thing. And when I was finished, Kidaki and I were there, and we were going to take a taxi to get back to Georgetown. And they tell us, don't do that. Not at this time of the night on the highway. We ain't allowing you all to go there. So we end up going by Jermaine's business. And we end up talking for almost the whole night. And I fell in love with the brother because he was willing to learn. So I know he's a good brother. I know he's a good brother. I want to put that on the table. I think he's a young man that has a long way to go. And he means he has our interests at heart. But I think he's a victim, and I'm going to have to say it very frankly here tonight. Yeah? He's a victim of PNC politics on race. You see, the PNC, because they're an electoral party, they usually don't speak in a straight way on issues like race, because race is controversial. Yeah? Race is a controversial thing. And so they kind of tiptoe around the race issue. And so if you're a young person coming up in the PNC, you're accustomed to anytime it comes to any black thing, you run away from it. Yeah? You run away from embracing anything that is black, 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 black. And even when you say black is good, you say but there's always a but, right? So young Figueroa, I think, coming up in a party that has not dealt straight with the issue of race, he has fallen, he's a victim of it, right? And so in that sense, I don't really condemn him, right? And so I was glad when the leader of his party a few days ago gave a full-throttled support to the boycott call, but more than that, gave a full-throttled support to the black cause, admitted that black people are oppressed, and the oppression is special, and it needs to be dealt with in a special way. And so therefore, Brother Figueroa, I think, has fallen victim to a culture in his party that doesn't work out how you deal with race. You see, here is my take, brother. All poor people in Guyana are victims under this government. All poor people of all race, Amerindian, Chinese, Portuguese. There is an anti-poor culture that is pervasive in our politics. It is there in our structures, all right? You know, look how they degrade the opposition leader because he just hang out with Bam Bam Ali, right? And if Desmond Hoyt or Forbes Burnham got Bam Bam Ali, they're going to lift them up and say, what, they're people of the folk. But you see, Forbes Burnham and Desmond Hoyt are middle class. Norton come from Christianborg, right? He's a working class guy. And so he do the same thing that the middle class. So there's a class bias in Guyana society that finds its way in policy. So of all races. But Black people are not only oppressed as working people, as poor people. They're oppressed because of their skin color. All right? There, again, anti-Blackness is embedded in the psyche of our people, including Black people. And so, therefore, you notice what Jack Dio is keep saying. Look, Black people where they are because they make bad choices. They buy broke down estate. They plant cassava and planting instead of planting rice, right? They're stupid. They're stupid when it comes to business. Look, the PNC, put them in the public service. Jack Dio knows that Black people going to the public service long before the PNC was created. So he takes the public service and he says the public service pauperizes you. So when Indian people are refusing to go into the police force, are refusing to go into the army except at the top, are refusing to be nurses and teachers and public servants, it's something that in them, there's pauper walk, there's poor people walk. It's an ideology. And what Jack Dio does is that he brings out it because he mout. You know, Teacher George in the village, use your garden by motor running away, babe. Right? Babe, when them baby used to play. And Jack Dio motor running away, babe. Right? Leonard Greenwood, you remember Teacher George? He said, oh, Jesus Christ, be careful about your motor run. You got away, baby. Jack Dio got away, baby, because he mout like run. Yeah. But he brings out the truth, right? And there is a feeling that Black people are good for nothing else than working in the public service, which is pauperized. So when you see the government initiates a policy of not paying public servants a livable wage, it comes from a deep place because it's not affecting Indian community. No, they're Indian teachers, they're Indian public servants, they're Indian nurses, they're Amerindian nurses, and so on. But they are a minority in the public service. So when you pay them poor wages, you are injuring them at the individual level. But when you have 80% of the public servants and nurses and teachers and police and things are Black people, when you pay them a wage that is not a living wage, you are denying the community economic sustenance, because they have less money to circulate in their community. You see, if you pay them more wages, they're able to buy more things. Instead of buying a 2-pound pork, they're able to buy 4-pound pork. The man who's selling pork or the lady who's selling pork is going to get more profit. She then is going to be able to send her son for cut hair at the barber once every 2 weeks than once every 2 months, right? You see? So when you deny public servants wages because you think it's pauperized professions, what you are doing, you are denying the Black community sustenance. So Indian public servants are suffering at the individual level, but they live in an Indian community where monies are coming in through the businesses, through the sugar workers, and so their low teacher pay, the community is able to offset the low teacher pay of the couple Indian teachers because cane cutters getting more money than teachers, right? They're more Indian, business people, etc., etc. So the Indian community is able to withstand the assault more than the African community. So African people are being hurt by the PPP policy, not just at the level of the individual, but at the level of the community. That is what Ipadaji is saying. That is what we are saying. That is what Mark Bishop and others have been highlighting. That's what the United Nations finally have zeroed in on this thing as consequences for our community. And so, yes, go ahead.
Well said, Dr. Hines. We just want to chime in on this video here with the opposition leader speaking on the boycott.
There you go.
So Richard Burks, I'm sorry. How do you view Mr. Richard Burks and Mark Benchcroft's statements when they called for a boycott of those Guyanese-owned businesses within the diaspora because they simply embrace the president? And do you believe that this action is contrary to constant activism in support of the development and progress of the Afro-Guyanese community?
Well, first, Rickford Burke and Mark Benchop are in the diaspora. They know what is happening in the diaspora, and they will make their decisions as they think fit in the diaspora. It is not for us to decide whether it's correct or incorrect for Rickford Burke and Mark Benchop to take whatever position they want. Neither the two are members of the People's National Congress Reform. They are individuals who act, and if they feel that that is the way to go, then they're free to do that.
Follow up to that, I know you just mentioned that they are not members of the opposition, but however they
never said the opposition, members of the political party.
Sorry. However, they align themselves with certain.
I didn't hear that.
They align themselves with certain notions that this party calls for. So I'm asking, as the leader of the People's National Congress, do you support this? Because again, these are Guyanese-owned businesses, and even recently, Benchcroft had threatened to bring this boycott to local businesses right here in Guyana.
If it necessitates bringing it to local businesses, I see no problem. Look, as I understand what was happening, is that the PPP went into Brooklyn, and he had some photo ops, and whatever they did, they got some businesses to accommodate him. In Guyana, I'm concerned that the government is oppressive, and to accommodate an oppressor. We in Guyana are concerned that our resources are not meeting the people, and they're using our resources to go all over the world mobilizing support. Now, as it relates to the treatment of Afro-Guyanese in Guyana, it leaves much to be desired. Apart from using some to achieve their own objectives, they have been very, very discriminatory in practice. And if Rickford Burke and Mark Benchop believe that the way they could help the struggling Guyana is by calling for a boycott, that is their right. Now, the fact that they support the party in some issues and disagree on other issues is also their right. And so I do not intend to prevent them from exercising their right. What I can say to you is that the information before the United Nations just recently suggests that the government is discriminatory in nature. It suggests that it's a wicked political government. It suggests that they're using the resources of the government to oppress people. If they believe that that is the approach they should take, they should feel free to take it.
That was very well said there, Dr. Hines, and that is a good position that the opposition leader would have taken there, giving, Mr. Benchcroft and Mr. Borg the latitude, to take whatever action they deem, necessary based on the situation in Brooklyn. And that was a very, very on-point statement. Dr. Hines, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I don't want to add. I just want to say I'm proud of Aubrey Norton, because I know it's not easy as leader of the PNC to make those kinds of statements. There are going to be people inside of his party who are going to say, oh, you should not have said that, we're going to lose vote. Look, let me be frank. Yeah, you may lose 100 votes across the border, but you can gain 10,000 votes inside the border. Let's be hard-nosed with politics here. And I want to also say, on Labor Day, Norton's the person who's challenging Norton, one of the persons challenging Norton for leadership, Brother Roysdale, went even further than Norton. He said, the unions got to bring people on the streets. You see, so those who are going to hammer Norton to say Norton gone radical, Roysdale gone more radical than Norton. And both of them are right. It is time the PNC leadership wake up and understand that they're holding back Black people from defending themselves under the assault. And the longer you hold them back, the more you're going to have people like those ladies in Brooklyn who going to want to go over and make an accommodation. You see? So part of preventing our people from having to make accommodation is to be militant. And you are being militant not because you wake up and say you want to be militant. It's been 4 years. And you've been playing by the rules. And we want you to continue to play by the rules, but play by the rules on your own terms. On your own terms. You see? Now, Jack Dio is speaking today at the PPP conference. You know what he said? We don't want no power sharing with the PNC. He's saying very plain. Those of you who castigate Norton for not shaking their hand, Norton was damn right. They're saying, not only we won't want to shake you on, we don't want to work with you all. Jack Dio said that at the conference today. He does not want any power sharing. No, I'm a power sharer, but he knows that I spent my whole political life fighting for that because I believe that whether we like the PPP or not, they represent Indian people vote for them. And whether they like PNC and other opposition groups, Black people vote for them. And so you got to find a way to govern the country together. Ultimately, that's where I stand. But when Mr. Jack Dio, the Mister, you know, I said today that he don't want any power share. He's saying, I don't want to share any power with Black people. The few Black people who gonna whisk me into Brooklyn and carry me in this way and lick my ring, I am going to fix them up nicely. But I am not going to fix up the Black community nicely because I don't want to share power with the leaders of the Black community. When you say, I don't want to share power with the leaders of the Black community, you're saying to the people who fought for those leaders, I want to share power with you because you are beneath me. Black people, all you understand what you all are facing. You all are facing a second-class citizen. You all are facing a sister of mine, Sister Olive Sampson, call it erasure. We are facing erasure as Black people. Erasure from the landscape of Guyana. And they're always going to take one or two of us and hold us up and say, look. But we have to see past that and say, I'm not fighting for me, you not fighting for you, Mark not fighting for you. We are doing well, comparatively speaking, right? We are fighting for our people who don't have the opportunities that we have. And so it's about our community. It's not about an individual here, an individual there. When I go to my village, they have a couple of collaborators that they put me out. David, you know I's not a fool. I take in the thing, but I know where I stand. I's a WPA. You know what, so on. And I just say to them, whether you're cocking me or not, it's not my business. Whether you're taking money or not, it's not my business. All I'm saying, do not join with those people to oppress your own people. That's all I'm asking you. You want to come and grab a couple dollars from them? That's your business. You understand what I mean? But do not. And anytime you are seen, and that is where I support the boycott. If the lady declared the man in she living room, she basement, and they hold a little function there and they do the business there and so on, it's going to be none of me business and Mark business. But this is a public space. You have a contract with the community that I am going to provide a service to you and you're going to pay me for that service. This is a public contract. And you are depending on me. And now you are going to bring my oppressor in. You're breaking that contract. So when we say boycott, All we are saying, you have already broken the contract where you provide a service and we are going to pay for that service. And you are going to bring in my oppressor in, you have broken that contract. So we are joining by breaking the contract by saying, we're going to boycott you. We're not boycotting black businesses because we can't buy Sheila instead of you. Where we used to buy, we party and we cook up from you, we're going over by Sheila. And we strengthening another black business. So you all stop that nonsense. That bench shop and other people working against black people and taking money out of the pocket. We put in more money in black people's pocket. Because Sheila, who used to make $300, $3,000, now she's going to get a chance to make $5,000. Expand your business. Go boycott, go.
Take responsibility. We want you to look out for us. We do not want no segregation. No. We are one people. And if we're going to do it, let's do it together. Because we have respect for you. Thank you.
All right, President. All right, I agree with you, and I would have it no other way. No other way. There is only one way forward, and that is united. That is for us to band together, for us to understand the challenges together, and for us to overcome those challenges.
Absolutely.
Dr. Hines,
my brother,
I love your position on shared governance, shared power. Okay, I recall you in this position right after the elections of 2020. I recall, when they said that the elections, well, we know the elections was rigged, but they used the word inconclusive. I would have heard you came out and you spoke of shared power. But Dr. Hines, Jagdeo repeated today, he does not want it. How can a corrupt government ever want to share power with anybody? Okay? And these detractors in Brooklyn, they should be following closely and listening. He doesn't want to share power with you guys. You guys are there to be ruled. Black people must not have a seat at the table. All 6 ethnic groups cannot sit at one table. Jagdeo must rule. And Guyana is, Dr. Hines, as long as this continues, Guyana would never evolve to the Guyana that we are dreaming of. You know why? Because it is one man who is dictating all the terms. There's no way one man knows everything, and there's no way that one man can handle every situation. We are closing on time here, Dr. Hines, but I wanted to just ask you a quick question on electoral reform, because all of this work that we are doing is going to be null and void if the electoral apparatus is not working correctly. So I just wanted your take on electoral reform, because we had these big budgets and we haven't seen anything done when it comes to electoral reform. A new list among other things. Your take, Dr. Hines.
We have to have electoral reform for elections to make any sense in Guyana. And we are in a dilemma, and the dilemma is that we call for reform. If the PPP doesn't agree with reform, then we have to go to an election without reform, which means the elections are rigged before it starts. All right? And there are two things that's going to happen, right? Is either we boycott, and if we boycott, they take all 65 seats, all right? So if we don't boycott, then we go into the election and hope for the best. That is not a nice way to operate, and so on. Then the other options we have is to really stand up and make electoral reform an issue. We make electoral reform an issue and say that this struggle, this electoral reform is a human rights issue. I hear people talk about, well, there's no longer majority group. Well, those of us who don't know anything about election, if you don't have a majority, you manufacture a majority. And that's what the PPP did in 2020. They manufactured a majority, and they had international help in doing so. They had local help in doing so, and so on. They manufacture the majority. And so, therefore, we have to have electoral reform. If you have 200,000 extra people on the list and you need to thief 5,000, oh my God, Lord Jesus. 5,000 to thief from 200,000, easy pickings. By the time you wink your eyes, they're gone with 5,000. By the time you blink, they're gone with 5,000. So they want to keep the options open for thieving. You see, thieving election now is not an election day. That's old-time rigging. Long-time rigging, where you election day, you vote 20, 30,000 times, right? Nowadays, you rig long before election. That's why I never fall for this thing with Mingo, SOPs. SOPs do not determine any damn election in Ghana. What determines election when the police says, look, Mark put it on the thing there. 4,864 absent voters, there's one seat. There's one seat, my brother.
Right.
There's one seat. When you add up the rest, there's a half a seat.
Yeah, but Dr. Hines, 150 stuffed ballot boxes. That could be another seat or two right there. Those are
my mother. Oh, my mother. Oh, my mother. I didn't even go there. You're not supposed to call tainted votes because you don't know where's the good vote and the bad vote in those boxes.
Right.
So therefore, the PPP has this done. We have to make electoral reform an issue to struggle for. I don't want to sit here tonight and say no biometrics, no voters list, no election. I think that would be suicidal to say that, right? Because like I said, if you come to election day and there are no reforms and you say you're backing out, they're glad. They get our 65 seats. You see? So we have to make this an essential part of the struggle. And we got to go forward with it. And if we are going to struggle, we don't want people in Brooklyn cuddling and giving sustenance to the people who are keeping us back from having the conditions for free and fair election. I grew up, Teacher George used to say, Teacher George again, George Young. He said, black man too liquid. Black man too liquid. Square, as we used to say. And some of us are, we licorice. We licorice. You see? And, you know, we are never going to get rid of those people. They're always going to be there. But we got to do them. We got to give them the B treatment, the boycott treatment. And I'm saying to you all tonight, pass, what they call the place, the hills. Pass the hills and go over to the jails and spend your money at the jails. All right? And some of you got money in Brooklyn, hurry quick and open. Hurry quick and open some new black businesses so that we can go and support you. We are for black businesses. Black people in Guyana, in Brooklyn, support black businesses, but don't support any black business that is working against the black interest. I say no more.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hines. Well, we are just about out of time. I am going to quickly ask you for your closing remarks. I want you to give us a path, a way forward with this boycott and speak to the Guyanese people, give them something positive on this Saturday evening, you know, that can make them feel good. Empower them, Dr. Hines, with some of your words of encouragement as we close this evening.
We are beautiful people. We are beautiful people. Very beautiful people. God, my God, I cannot overemphasize how beautiful. We are business people. We have always been business people. My sister Denise Booker is on here tonight. She's burying her mother next week. And her mother was a businesswoman, come from a business family. We have been business people. But we have also been loyal people. Loyal to ourselves, loyal to our struggle, loyal to the country without a fault. But there comes a time when we've got to say that we can't take this match down anymore. And we've got to get up and get. And I want to say to you all, we will win. They say apartheid will never fall. It fell. They said that slavery would never end. It ended. They say that indentureship and colonialism will never end. It ended. And by God, this too shall pass. But it will not pass until and unless we decide that we are going to use all the talents at our disposal. All the talents. You don't know. I don't think Mark get up one morning and say, oh God, I'm going to call this boycott for broke up the black business. The spirit moves in him and said, this I pass cannot continue, boycott. And the minute he says so, the oppressor says, oh shit, Mark got me number A. Mark got me number A. Sisters and brothers, stay with the struggle. Stay with the struggle. Support us. Support us. Work for the party, but also work outside of the party. And I always say, the PNC are not angels. They are the big party, and all of us, most of us, support them. But if you vex with them, go in and crawl on your belly and kiss Jack the O-ring is not the answer. We got options. We have other options in the opposition. I won't call my party name because I don't want to make your show about my party, right? But just in case you didn't know, I belong to a political party. And where others may not want to go, we are prepared to go. Somebody has to go. And so therefore, let not your heart be troubled. Do not believe that this thing will continue forever. We got them in a corner. We got them in a corner. And when you get them in a corner, they got to stay there. And no 2, 3, 4, 5 turncoats in Brooklyn will stop this struggle. Will stop this struggle.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hines. That was well put. And listen, the opposition is a coalition that consists of the APNU, AFC, and the WPA is also there. Okay, we do not choose what parties people choose to be a part of. It is your decision. But we have 3 parties there. Okay, and you can demonstrate your democratic right by being a part of any one of those 3 parties. And I support all 3 of them. All right, Dr. Hines, thank you so much.
Thank you for my brother, my sister Francis, my dear sister. You know, she was in Guyana last year, and we met at I think we met at funeral. Sister, God, where her name is escaping me. We met at the funeral, and we had a long talk. And she's asking, "How long is the wait?" What Dr. King used to say: "How long? Not long." How long? Not long. The moral arc sometimes is long, but it bends in the right direction eventually. Not long, my sister. Not long. God don't give you more than you can bear. The rumblings and the thunder shall roll tonight. There shall be the tempest tonight, but joy cometh in the morning. And old people used to say, 2 morning more.
Amen. Amen, Dr. Hines. Dr. Hines, it was such a pleasure having you tonight. There is so much more that we could have touched on. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I expect to see you very, very soon.
Yes.
Again, on over to you. And ladies and gentlemen, in order to move forward, for Guyana to move forward, I think that Dr. Hines, it is my belief and my opinion that Dr. Hines must play a pivotal role in moving Guyana forward. I want to thank everyone for joining. I want to thank our operator, Lemon. I want to thank our CEO and owner here at 107.1 FM, Mr. Mark Benchcop. And to everyone, have a beautiful remainder of the weekend. And I'll see you guys during the week on Over to You. And please don't forget to join Dr. David Hines every day of the week for Politics 101 on CAMS TV. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Dr. Hines, thank you again.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North.